Hey everyone, how are you guys doing? I'm going to do a quick installation of this pop and lock. And this pop and lock, it's an actuator that you install in your tailgate, so you don't need to use your key to unlock the tailgate every time you want to get in and out. You can use your remote to unlock it, like when you unlock your doors. The tailgate will lock and lock along with the doors. So I'm going to show you what came with this kit. This is the part number I have, and this is for a 2016 to a 2020. It says, but my truck is a 2021, but it's still supposed to fit. We'll find out. So what comes in the kit is wire harness, another wire harness that goes in the tailgate to this actuator. This actuator is what locks and unlocks the tailgate. And there's some miscellaneous parts in this bag. First step to do is to take all these Torx 30s. They go all along the outer perimeter of this tailgate cover. So I'm not going to show you how to take them off. I'm sure you can figure it out. So just start with taking all of these off, and I will get back to you as soon as I get those off. So I took the screws out, and just to let you know, the top ones are a little bigger than all the other ones. If you can see there. These top ones are the ones that go along the top of the tailgate, and these little ones go all along the left and right and lower side. So just something to keep in mind. So I loosened it, and then this comes off the cover. Just pull it off. Set it aside somewhere. And this piece is going to go in there. Alright, so the next step is the kit comes with this 10mm bolt. You have to take the 10mm that's right there. I already unloosened it. So you take it off, and you can see there's a size difference. This one's smaller, not as long as the new one. And the reason you need the new one is because this actuator is going to fit right where you took that bolt off. It slides in there, and it kind of fits in place, and that's where you took the bolt off, is right there. So then you get the new one, put it in there, lock it down, make sure this is fits nice in the grooves. There's a little finger there that fits in that hole and keeps it aligned. So next step is to bolt that down. The next step in the process is to get the big wire harness and these two plastic grommets. What's going to happen here is this is going to go through the small hole, and you have to pull the old one out, which is right here. You pull it out, and you replace it with this one, and it can only go one way. It'll snap in one way. So you snap it in there, and the thick harness, the original harness, goes in the big hole, and then the small harness that came with the kit goes through here. So what you're going to do is here's the actuator. Here's the connector for the actuator. You're going to connect this to this side of the harness. Then once you connect it, you're going to run it through the bottom here and run it out through the top, and you're going to put the new plastic grommet in there, and then you're going to have to unclip this, and then it'll clip back. But you follow it through, and then down here on the bottom there's another one. So So you can do the same thing with that one. Remove that and put the new one in there and push the new harness through. And I will do that, and I will show you what it looks like afterwards. So I unclip this from the harness. I'm just going to show you in case you guys have troubles. On the back side, you can squeeze these two from underneath here and pop it out if you need more clearance. Here is the old clip. There's the old clip. If you want to, when you go to take it apart, there's a little clip right there that you can use a screwdriver and just twist. Put that in there and just get it over the little lock, and then you should be able to separate it. And then you get your new one, run your harness through there, and then it should just snap into place. One thing to take a note of is that's where that little plastic grommet goes, and it does only fit one way. If you look over here, there's like a little notch cut out on the body side, and if you look at the grommet, there's that little notch right on that side. So that means it has to go in this way, like that, with the harness. So make sure that little notch is lined up with the little cutout on the body side. I don't know if you can see that right there. Alright, this is what it looks like on the tailgate side. The actuator is installed. Here's the harness for the actuator coming out of the back. This is where it's connected. I did tie strap it to, there's a little tiny bracket there you can tie it down to so it's not flopping around or rattling. Then I followed the new harness around to the factory harness. I tie strapped it there, follow the factory harness, and then I tie strapped it right there. Then it goes out the plastic grommet, and then I use a tie strap to hold it down there, and then the grommet with the factory harness and the harness applied goes through the back of the bed, and then we'll start from the bottom. Okay, this is the bottom side. Bumpers over here, tow hitch right here, plastic grommet, and there's the harness that you push through. And what I'm going to do is just follow it along this harness that's right here. And what you're going to have to do is just put it along here, put like a tie strap there, just keep following it, and that same harness should lead to the front of the vehicle. So just run your harness that came with the kit and just put a tie strap every, I don't know, whatever you think is suitable for you. The kit does come with a bag of tie straps, so you should be able to figure out how many you want to put in between the spaces. So my next step is I'm just going to run it all along the body of the vehicle underneath, following it. It looks like it goes underneath the fuel tank, and it should lead out to the front. So I messed up on one of the steps. There was a second harness, the little harness, and I messed up. It's not a big mess up, but that's why I'm here, to mess up so you don't mess up. So this one, this harness goes connected to the actuator to here, and then goes through the tailgate and comes out the tailgate through here and out the bottom of the bed. Okay, next step is to take the driver's door sill panel off. So this just rips up, comes off. Next step is to take the little side kick panel, and there is a little plastic 10 nut. It goes right there, and it goes right above where your footrest is. And then we have to find an access hole to bring the harness that we have run through the bottom. And I don't know if you can see this. But way back here, it's way back there. I can't get a good shot, but it's right over here, right above the seat. So you're gonna have to raise the seat up, and if you stick your hand, you'll be able to feel it. So let me show you where it's at underneath the car. So just to give you a reference, there's the door jamb, and this is the bottom of the car. Let's go underneath the truck. So there's the bottom of the door opening, and then there's this little rubber grommet by the frame, and what you're gonna have to do is pull it out. It just pulls out, and then as you can see, this is the bottom of the carpet. The seat is right there. And where's my harness? My harness that I ran from the back is right here. And what you're gonna have to do is this little rubber grommet, you're gonna have to either poke a hole or drill a little tiny hole, very small, just enough to squeeze the wiring through, because you don't want water getting in there. And then after you do that and get the harness through, you might want to put maybe a dab of silicone just for extra protection. So my next step is I'm going to do my hole and stick the harness through, and then run it through the top, and I'll show you once it's at the top. Just want to do a correction. It was not that grommet that I showed you. It's one over. This little one. It's right next to it. So once again, just pull it down. You're still going to have to do the little hole there. Your carpet is right there, and I should be able to stick my hand up through there, and there's my finger. So okay, I got the harness going from underneath the floor there. I poked a hole through the grommet and ran the wire through the harness. So now the harness comes up, and this is the end. So what's going to happen here is you have the final and last little piece of harness, which is these two wires with this connector on one end that says B and G. So B and G stand for blue and green wire. So that means you have to take this little cap off, and then you slide in the green wire and the G, and the blue wire and the B. And when you fit them in there, you should hear a click, and you shouldn't be able to pull the wires out anymore. So that's where this end is going. And once you get this end, you have these two little connector pieces, which will go onto these T-fittings. Here's the T-fitting, and the way this works is you stick a wire. Let's just pretend this is the wire right here. You put the wire through here. So let's say the wire's in there right now, and then you clamp it shut. So the wire's in there, and then this closes on the wire, and then it has a locking tab, and once you squeeze it, it should lock in place. You should hear a click, and when it's squeezed, this back end right here goes inside the little clips on the back. You should slide them in, and that connects to whatever wire you're trying to get into without doing any cuts. It will splice into it. But the next step is to find the two wires to splice into, and as you can see, there's a bunch of connectors. You're supposed to figure out which connector it is, and they tell you it's a 10-pin connector with it has a blue and black wire. So you have to look around, and I think I found it. So here's the very bottom, and then you got to move things around, wire harness around, and this one right here, I think that's the one. I'll find out once I connect everything, and if it's a mistake, it's my mistake, and you will learn not to do that. So if you can see here, there's 5 wires on top, 5 wires on the bottom, and on the connectors there's numbers. Usually they're super small. I don't think they'll show up, but right there, I believe that's a number 10. That's number 10, so it goes, that should be 10, and then this is number 1. So it would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I was looking for a blue and black wire, and there's a blue and black wire, and it's on the wiring diagram that was supplied with the kit. It says number 10 pin, which is this one, should be black, and number 9 should be blue. So it's matching to this 10-pin connector I have right here, so I'm going to assume this is it. So the next step, I'm going to hook up the T connectors, which is those blue things. I'm going to hook one up so you can see what it looks like. One thing I suggest is there's not enough room here, so what I would do is pull up on this harness, you know, give yourself some space, pull it up as far as you can, or as far as you think you need, and then I would get a razor and carefully slice this electrical tape right here, but don't slice the wiring, just slice the tape and peel it back so you have extra room. So here's the T fitting on the number 10 black, just to show you what it's gonna look like when you put it on. So you want to put the wire through the little channel, and then there's the little teeth on one end, and you just fold it and it clips, and then you're going to want to get some pliers and squeeze on it really tight. So that's the way that goes. Okay, that's what they look like. I have the black and the blue spliced into. So there's the blue connectors spliced into the wires, and you're supposed to connect the blue wire from the harness into the black one, and then the blue one on the car side goes to the green harness. Now on this end, you take this connector off on the end, and then you, like I said, you slide these pieces of the harness that came on the other end, blue to the B and green to the G. Once you take that cap off, you slide them in, make sure you hear a click and kind of tug on them, make sure they don't come out, and then that should be complete. Alright, so the actual wires go into that little cap that I was talking about. So I push them in there, they're locked, and then you clip it in there, and then we'll test and see if it works. So I made another mistake. So here's the blue and green, the BG, and the wires were supposed to go in on the other end, on this side, and I accidentally stuck them in on this side. I wasn't paying attention, and then once you do that, you can't get them out. So here's the other half of the wiring, and it's supposed to go like that. So I made a mistake, but all I did was just butt connect them, blue and green, and that should be okay. Now here's the connector. I'm going to stick it back in its slot, which is right back there, and hopefully the car won't catch on fire and everything will be okay. So it's in there, and let's see what happens. Close the door. Let's go back here. Let's hit the lock button. Oh, look at that. It's working. So I did get the right one. That's unlock. That's lock. Okay. So there's the installation with all the mistakes I've made that hopefully you will not make. And the only thing left is just to button up the wires. So good luck, guys.